Hey guys, let's get more news about Miami Heat, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. New details make Caleb Martin's offseason blunder look even worse. Miami Heat's unrestricted free agent Caleb Martin was never expected to be back this summer. Martin became a strong rotation piece over the years in the Heat's system and earned himself a payday. With Miami's limited financial situation being deep into the cap, his re-signing was seen as unlikely from the start. That view came to fruition a week into free agency, when Martin signed a 4-year $35 million deal with the rival Philadelphia 76ers. However, it was not the payday that he had hoped for. Initially, the Heat encouraged Martin to opt into his near $7 million player option and sign an extension that was worth $65 million over 5 years. He instead rejected that offer, opting to bet on himself that he would be able to earn more elsewhere. His camp revealed at the start of free agency that they were looking for $15 million annually. Once Martin declined that opt-in extension from the Heat, they were not able to offer that deal again. Ultimately, with the new CBA, the market dried up relatively quickly and Martin had to settle for far less than Miami's original offer. Some new details recently came up regarding his decision to depart for Philadelphia. This is rather unsettling for Martin and his camp. They had not just one chance to take more money to stay in South Florida, but 2 chances. Even though the Heat couldn't put that first $65 million option back on the table, they were still willing to give him slightly more than the 76ers did after the fact. Martin was yet another undrafted success story that developed into a great player in Miami. Unlike Gabe Vincent and Max Struss departures a year ago though, his free agent exit was a head-scratcher for everyone involved. He was already an established role player as a strong perimeter defender and two-way asset that spent years building chemistry with the franchise. There were several opportunities for him to continue what he started on a team that has had playoff success with him in the lineup, not to mention with more money involved. When it comes to the no state income taxes for Florida in contract negotiations, it seems that Martin and his agent simply outplayed their hand. With that behind him, Martin expressed excitement for a fresh start on a new-look contending Sixers squad. Instead, the Heat are left with losing another playoff-tested, homegrown guy for nothing. Insider believes Pat Riley has bold plans for Miami Heat at NBA trade deadline. The Miami Heat have not made many changes to their roster this offseason. However, the belief is that at some point that will have to change. Looking at the landscape of the Eastern Conference, you'd have to assume that the Heat is either going to have to pivot toward a retooling around Bam Adebayo or try to find an all-in move to truly capitalize on the Jimmy Butler build. But that could prove to be difficult to pull off. And at least for now, the Heat have elected to stand pat. That could be by design, especially if former Heat insider Dan Le Batard is right. In the words of Le Batard, he believes Pat Riley could have a bold plan for the team leading up to the trade deadline. According to Le Batard, he believes that Riley has his eyes on the potential of making a move for Kevin Durant, who, if the Phoenix Suns continue to struggle, could hit the trade block. There were whispers at the start of the offseason that Durant might have hit the trade block, but at least for now, that hasn't happened. And the Suns continue to hold firm on their intentions of running the roster back. It's one thing for the Heat to express interest in KD, it's an entirely different thing for them to actually put together the trade package that it would require to win a potential all-out bidding war for the superstar wing. As the Heat have learned in the past, most recently as last offseason, there's no guarantee that they'll be able to land the star player even if the star player demands a trade to Miami. Just last summer, all signs pointed toward Damian Lillard being traded to the Heat, until it didn't happen. Even if KD were to demand a trade to the Heat in a dream scenario, there's no guarantee Miami would be able to compete a deal with the lack of future assets they have at their disposal. Then again, a lot can change in a matter of a few months. And for the sake of the Heat, that's the hope. With how much the Eastern Conference has improved this summer, the Heat are falling behind. A big move is a necessity if the Heat want to compete in the East this season. The question is, will one develop for the team? It sure seems as if that's something the front office is banking on. Should the Miami Heat reconsider trading star Jimmy Butler? Star Jimmy Butler is the key to the Miami Heat competing for a championship in the near future, but retaining him long-term may not be in their best interest. Butler, who hits unrestricted free agency next offseason, will seek a maximum contract extension. If things go sideways for the Heat in the upcoming season, the veteran forward could head elsewhere. Bleacher Report's Greg Swartz recently shared his belief that the Heat will regret not trading Butler this offseason. As good as the past 5 years have gone for both Jimmy Butler and the Miami Heat, Swartz wrote. The franchise is making a mistake by not trading the all-star forward this summer. Moving on Butler would allow the Heat's young core of Bam Adebayo, 27, Tyler Herro, 24, Jamie Jaquez Jr., 23, Nikola Jovic, 21, and Kel'el Ware, 20, to evolve together. Miami's front office could receive strong draft capital in return for the 34-year-old from a team such as the New Orleans Pelicans or Memphis Grizzlies. Miami should be extremely wary of Butler's future, especially since he'll be 35 by the start of the season and hasn't played more than 65 games since he was with the Chicago Bulls in 2016-17, Swartz wrote. Butler could also leave as an unrestricted free agent next summer. Miami Heat forward Jimmy Butler is certainly enjoying his offseason. From playing high-stakes poker with celebrities to sharing the stage with country music stars, Butler is living life to its fullest. This weekend was no different. After going to the University of Illinois Chicago's basketball gym to work on his game, he attended a barbecue festival called the Windy City Smokeout. There, he sang on stage with country singer Parker McCallum. The Smokeout takes place annually outside of the United Center, the home of the Chicago Bulls. He then went to Welcome to the Farm, a new downtown bar he partnered with former Chicago Bears linebacker Roquan Smith and country music star Chase Rice. Smith now plays for the Baltimore Ravens. Welcome to the Farm, or WTF as it is referred to in Chicago, also has locations in Cleveland and St. Petersburg. Butler is only a partner in the Chicago establishment. This is not Butler's first foray into the food industry. After finding no suitable coffee locations during the COVID season of 2020, Butler thought of opening his own coffee company. For years later, Butler has a company called Big Face, which specialized in specialty coffee products and certain adult beverages. Butler was belting out the tunes from his 200-song album and the crowd was extremely pleased. Before the night was over, Butler got back on stage to sing a cover of Shaboozie's A Bar song. Butler used to play in Chicago before he was traded to the Minnesota Timberwolves in 2017. He has played for the Heat since 2019. And you fan? What do you think of the situation of Jimmy Butler? Leave your opinion in the comments.